Part 2. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 11. As Yang Lin opened his eyes, an imperceptible electric light flashed in his eyes. When the three girls saw Yang Lin sitting cross-legged on the sofa in this weird posture before, they thought he was pretending to be mysterious. But now it seems that is not the case at all. At that moment, they seemed to see thousands of stars in Yang Lin's eyes, so that they could not move their eyes for a long time until Yang Lin's voice rang in the room. "Have you finished washing? If so, then I'm going to get ready for bed." Just like waking up from a big dream, Boss Yang and the other two people suddenly felt their faces heat up. "It's done. Thank you, Yang Lin. Let's go back first. We have to get up early to set up shop tomorrow. By the way, will you continue to stay on Lover's Street tomorrow?" Perhaps to ease the embarrassment, Boss Yang said softly. After hearing her question, Yang Lin thought for a moment and finally nodded. "Probably, but I may not go there in the morning." "That's it?" After a meaningless conversation, the three people immediately took their belongings and left the hotel room. After the three people left, Yang Lin was soon the only one left in the room. "It's already 11:30. They took a long time to wash. I should go to the toilet and sleep." Standing up from the sofa, Yang Lin stretched first, and then walked towards the bathroom. As soon as he entered the bathroom, something on the shelf caught his attention. "This is..." At a glance, he recognized what was on the shelf. It was pure white and hollowed out with a playful little bow. For a moment, he didn't know who left it. Lu Tianxian? Reba? Or Boss Yang? This style shouldn't be Boss Yang's, right? What the hell do I think this is for? After shaking his head helplessly, Yang Lin didn't bother to care anymore and just waited for the opportunity to return it. At the same time, Boss Yang, who had just left the hotel on the other side, changed his expression when he saw the toiletry bag in his hand. "I left something at Yang Lin's place. I have to go back and get it." Hearing Boss Yang's words, Reba's pretty face suddenly showed a trace of doubt. "What is it? Let me go back with you to get it?" Lu Tianxian on the other side also quickly suggested. "Why don't you ask Yang Lin to bring it to you tomorrow? We have to gather in the morning anyway." But as soon as they finished speaking, Boss Yang shook his head. No, I have to go up and get it myself. Just wait for me here." After saying this, she ran into the hotel without any explanation, leaving only Reba who looked confused. 2 minutes later, just as Boss Yang was about to knock on Yang Lin's door, the door opened by itself, and then Yang Lin's familiar face appeared in front of Boss Yang. Immediately, Boss Yang's face showed a trace of embarrassment. He wanted to speak directly, but he was embarrassed. "I hope he hasn't discovered it yet. It would be embarrassing if he did." But her prayers had no effect. In the next second, Yang Lin's right hand picked up something and placed it in front of her. "I knew you would come back to get it. Fortunately, you met a gentleman like me and not a pervert." At this moment, Boss Yang wanted to get into the crack in the door. She had no idea that Yang Lin would hold such a thing in his hands so openly. Just when she was filled with shame and anger, Yang Lin unconsciously glanced downwards. Although it was just a glance, it was immediately caught by Boss Yang. Boss Yang was stunned for a moment, then quickly reacted. "Don't think too much about it. I changed into this. I have something to wear now." "I know." "How did you know?" Facing Boss Yang's scrutinizing gaze, Yang Lin quickly explained. "That's not what I meant. I just saw that there is dust on the tip of your nose and dirt on the soles of your shoes. I'm afraid you will not only lose money tomorrow, but also suffer a bloody disaster. If you want to solve the problem, I can help you read your palm." After hearing Yang Lin's words, Boss Yang glanced at the soles of his feet in confusion. Her expression changed in the next second, and she didn't know when a burp bag was stuck on the sole of her shoe. But even so, she obviously still didn't believe what Yang Lin said. With a slightly angry look on her pretty face, she reached out and snatched what belonged to her from Yang Lin's hand. You also said that you are a gentleman, but you are obviously a big pervert and a great bastard. I misjudged you. After saying that, she stuffed the things into her bag, turned around and walked out of the hotel. When she reached the corner, she didn't forget to turn back and glare at Yang Lin. After being glared at by Boss Yang, Yang Lin could only helplessly spread his hands. How do I look like a pervert? And the magic stick is the magic stick. Why do I need to add a big word? I don't understand. It turns out it was replaced. Then I have to wash my hands quickly. After saying that, he closed the door with a look of disgust. On the other side, Boss Yang, who had left the hotel again, became increasingly angry as he thought about it. Until she returned to her room, she was still struggling with one thing, and that was whether to throw away what she had just brought back. If not, she was worried that Yang Lin had done something strange. If I lost it, I didn't seem to bring too many when I went out to participate in the recording this time. If I bought it, I might not be able to buy a suitable one. Forget it, he's probably not that perverted yet. Let's wash him again tomorrow. After muttering to herself for a while, she remembered what Yang Lin said when she left. Will I really suffer a bloody disaster tomorrow, and will I lose money? Is he lying to me or is he serious? If she had never taken Yang Lin's words seriously before, she also heard today that Yang Lin earned 10,000 yuan by telling others fortunes. Reminiscing about Yang Lin's previous vision while meditating, she vaguely felt that maybe Yang Lin really had that ability. With all kinds of doubts, Boss Yang tossed and turned all night but couldn't sleep much. And time also passed little by little under such circumstances, and soon the second day of recording came. When the time just reached 7:30 in the morning, a group of celebrities and artists gathered in a corner of Lovers Street again. But soon they discovered that there seemed to be one person missing. Where's Yang Lin? Why didn't he come? Yeah, won't he show up today? Just because you made 10,000 yuan yesterday, you can't stop working today. Just when everyone was full of doubts, the group of staff responsible for following Yang Lin also came over. Director Liu, Yang Lin said that he would not go out to the stall this morning. He said that he had calculated that his fortune was not in the morning, and he would not go out to the stall until the afternoon. As soon as he finished speaking, both the people at the scene and the netizens watching the live broadcast in the live broadcast room were all dumbfounded. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 12. That brother really did it 6 times and stopped working on the second day. You have the style of Master San He. You work 1 day and take 3 days off. Master San He is not as comfortable as him. Is there a possibility that the reason why people choose to tell fortunes at a stall is for freedom? If they want to be on time, it would be better to find a class. I think Yang Lin is right. Since he has calculated that his financial luck will be poor in the morning, it is very reasonable not to go out in the morning. Okay, I think this is a very valid reason. I'm going to tell my boss right now that my financial fortune is not good today and I'm destined not to make any money, so I won't go to work. Perfect closed loop. If you don't make any money, you won't go to work. If you don't go to work, you won't make any money. You'll have to worry about it. It turns out that I have also mastered the essence of fortune telling. Your age plus 1 year minus 1 year is your age. I am also a god of calculation. Magician Gao, why the hell are people whipping my corpse here? Celebrities have already begun to show off like this, why do we still have to work so hard? It was promised that this would be a program to encourage workers to be beaten. How could this have the opposite effect? Very good, I admire this Yang Lin very much. While netizens were discussing it heatedly, the program team finally accepted the fact that Yang Lin was a mess. But they don't care about this at all, since other popular celebrities are here anyway. Fellow artists, after the day's adaptation yesterday, I believe you have initially experienced the hardships of working as a worker, well, except for Yang Lin. And it's still the same today, you need to figure out how to make money on your own. Following the host's nonsense, the 6 artists immediately got into the mood. Just like the previous day, Lu Tianxian and the other 3 women were still busy with their own small businesses. Among them, Boss Yang, who had ample funds, rented a small cart and went straight to the largest local clothing wholesale market. Xiao Yuiyu still set up a food stall, but after having more capital, he also rented a marshmallow machine to sell sausages and marshmallows at the same time. The ones who have changed the most are Hua Chenyu and Kun Kun. After a day of settling, the 2 also realized that there was something wrong with their previous thinking. While performing arts, Hua Chenyu also imitated Boss Yang and wholesaled a batch of bubble water, special shaped balloons, etc. from small vendors to attract children. Kunkin, on the other hand, spent a lot of money to rent a green toad suit wearing suspenders and a middle-parted comb. While playing music and dancing, he sold small green toad balloons. Seeing this scene, netizens in the live broadcast room couldn't hold back for a moment. I'm going to blanch. Pigeon pigeon is indeed a pigeon pigeon. If you can afford it, let it go. Play with your own tricks and let others have nothing to play with. I cried to death. I didn't expect that the biggest little black guy was actually Pigeon himself. It's over, it's over. He's starting to make fun of himself. I love him so much. What if I turn from being a fan to being a fan? Actually, there are no sunspots in the world, they are just a group of fans who love pigeons. That's right. If you didn't have feelings, who could have been black for so many years? Who wouldn't love such an idol? The black fan leader is actually himself. This move directly made the anti-fans feel ashamed. It's over, I'm a real fan. There is no doubt that with Kunkin's self-deprecating behavior, his popularity has skyrocketed again, becoming the most eye-catching presence in this variety show. However, Yang Lin, who was in the limelight yesterday, was gradually left out by netizens because he did not show up in the morning. As several artists get on the right track, their incomes also begin to slowly rise. As of noon, even Huahua, which has the lowest turnover, has earned a very impressive 200 yuan. 180 yuan of it came from selling children's toys, so much so that he became suspicious when he looked at the new guitar in his hand. Why don't you sell this guitar and exchange it for a small toy? Maybe I can even set up a trap stall. Just when everyone's income is growing rapidly, the same is true for Boss Yang. With his extraordinary sales ability, a batch of clothes wholesaled from the clothing market in the morning has already been sold out. After deducting the principal, I actually earned 1,300 yuan in one morning. Looking at the scattered cash in his hand, even Boss Yang, who usually made a lot of money, couldn't help but smile. But just when she was about to put away the stall and go to a nearby restaurant to have a casual bite, a young couple walked towards her stall. Before he even got close, the girl inside showed a very interested expression. "Boss, how much does your dress cost?" Upon hearing this, Boss Yang immediately realized that this was business, and greeted him with a smile. As for the bag used to hold the money, he casually put it aside. She didn't even notice that the man in the couple let go of his partner's hand. While Boss Yang was chatting enthusiastically with the girl and selling clothes, the man quietly touched the bag that Boss Yang used to hold money. Due to the obstruction of the line of sight, even the camera could not capture this scene. It wasn't until the man succeeded and wanted to leave that the woman found a reason to get rid of Boss Yang. Looking at the girl who failed to win in the end, Boss Yang could only sigh helplessly. The next second when her eyes turned to the side, her expression changed instantly. Where's my money? Why is my money missing? As she shouted, both passers-by and the audience in the live broadcast room looked over. What happened? Did Boss Yang lose his money? Looking at her anxious look, she should be. It's not like all the money is lost. It would be tragic if that were the case. Yeah, hard-earned money. It must be the couple just now. They worked together to commit the crime. The woman was responsible for pestering Boss Yang, and the man was responsible for stealing. I guess they took care of it in advance. Call the police quickly. Yes, the camera just caught their faces, they can definitely be traced back. Boss Yang is naturally aware of the problems that everyone in the live broadcast room is aware of. But her first reaction was not to call the police. Firstly, the amount is too small, so the police may not accept it, and secondly, what if the two thieves are not locals and escape? Thinking of this, she immediately asked a stall owner next to her to help look after the stall, and she quickly chased them in the direction they left. After chasing them, they left the pedestrian street and saw that the two thieves were about to cross the traffic and disappear across the road. At this moment, a young Taoist priest wearing a yellow robe also appeared across the road. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 13. Looking at the familiar Taoist robe, Boss Yang, who had his money stolen, immediately seemed to have seen a savior. He quickly shouted to Yang Lin across the street. Catch that man, he's a thief. Not only Boss Yang was anxious, but the viewers in the live broadcast room were also anxious. Fortunately, Yang Lin is at work at this time. Don't be in a daze, brother, catch the thief quickly. If you don't catch him, the thief will disappear. He couldn't have heard it? It's over, he really didn't seem to hear it. Just when everyone was pinning their last hope on Yang Lin seemed to be fine and allowed the two people to get into the crowd. Seeing this scene, Boss Yang on the other side of the road suddenly became anxious and angry. He raised his legs and was about to rush to the other side of the road. But what she didn't notice was that the traffic light had turned red at this moment, and all the pedestrians stopped. She was the only one who quickly rushed into the main road. At this moment, a car coming from the intersection ahead also rushed over in the other direction. Seeing this scene, both the staff on site and the audience in the live broadcast room were so scared that they covered their mouths. Be careful, Sister May. Stop it. It's over, it's over. From their point of view, the speeding car would eventually hit Boss Yang no matter what. At that time, it may range from serious injuries to death. Boss Yang was about to be hit by a car, but at this moment, a figure suddenly crossed the street more than 10 meters and appeared next to Boss Yang in an instant. Before Boss Yang could react, she felt a pair of big hands wrap around her waist. Then the speeding car passed her. I told you that you were going to have a bloody disaster today, but you didn't listen. Now it's better. Not only is the money gone, but the person was almost hit. While Boss Yang was still confused, a familiar voice sounded in her ears. When he came back to his senses, he saw that it wasn't Yang Lin or someone else. At this moment, she was suddenly brought back to the street by Yang Lin. The scene where she was almost hit by a car just now was like a dream. But she soon determined that this was not a dream. After calming down, she suddenly felt bursts of pain coming from her knees. When I looked down, I discovered that the stockings at the knees had torn a big hole at some point, and the skin underneath was even more bruised and purple with blood oozing out. Obviously it seemed to be dodged just now, but it was not completely dodged. At this moment, Yang Lin's previous words echoed in her ears again. He actually calculated everything. Is he really that accurate? Just as Boss Yang was confused for a while, everyone in the program team hurried over. "Boss Yang, are you okay? Are you injured anywhere on your body? Do you need to go to the hospital? It was too dangerous just now. There was almost a car accident." Fortunately, Yang Lin took action in time. But how did he come here just now? Why did he suddenly appear in the middle of the road? It's normal for young people to run faster. Makes sense. Boss Yang seems to have injured his leg. It seems that the recording needs to be terminated. In the midst of the crowd's greetings and inquiries, Boss Yang endured the pain and continued to cross the road. "You don't have to worry about me. I have to chase the thief back quickly. I can't let him escape." After hearing her words, all the fans in the live broadcast room were suddenly moved again. But at this time, Yang Lin stood up and poured out a basin of cold water. "There's no need to chase him. He's a local and knows the terrain very well. Besides, you're injured now. It's obvious that your bones have been damaged. If you don't deal with it in time, there will be sequelae in the future." Hearing Yang Lin's words, Boss Yang felt frustrated at first and then looked worried. "You're not scaring me, are you? It's just a simple scratch. How could there be any sequelae?" As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lin shook his head. "It's not just your skin that's injured, but also the meridians underneath. But it doesn't matter. I happen to know a little bit about massage. I can give you a simple massage and you should be fine." After that, he borrowed a chair from a nearby store and let Boss Yang sit on it. At the beginning, Boss Yang didn't quite understand what Yang Lin was doing. Until Yang Lin squatted down in front of her and supported her injured leg. If it was a normal situation, she would definitely stop it immediately. But at this time, she was dumbfounded. When she reacted, she heard a tearing sound. Then there was a burst of pain from the knee. There is no doubt that it is not only Boss Yang who is dumbfounded at this moment, but also the staff on site and the audience in the live broadcast room are dumbfounded. They never expected that Yang Lin would be so bold as to press Boss Yang's leg in front of so many people. I don't know how long it took, but Yang Lin stood up again after some massage. "Okay, it's okay. You can get up and take a few steps." After hearing Yang Lin's words, Boss Yang, who looked stupid, came back to his senses. Just as she was about to scold Yang Lin, she suddenly felt that the place where she was injured before really didn't hurt that much anymore. After trying to stand up and walk around, her face was instantly filled with surprise. "It really doesn't hurt anymore. How did you do that?" Hearing Boss Yang's words, the fans in the live broadcast room who had been preparing to complain instantly burst into an uproar. "Really or not, he is really doing massage. Are you sure he is not taking advantage of Boss Yang? Why does Boss Yang reward him? It should be true. I looked at the place where I was hit just now and it seemed that the blood was bruised and now it has completely dispersed. I know about massage. A good massage master can not only treat bruises but also colds, but I don't understand why Yang Lin knows this if he's not a star. He can tell fortunes, and it doesn't seem so hard to accept that he knows massage. This kid has made a lot of money today. I'm going to learn massage soon. Do you want to learn massage? I don't even bother to expose you." Just as everyone was talking to each other, Boss Yang, who had recovered slightly from his leg injury, spoke again. I saw her saying eagerly, "By the way, you already calculated yesterday that I would lose money and suffer a bloody disaster. Then help me figure out where the two thieves went." Hearing Boss Yang's words, everyone who was shocked by Yang Lin's massage techniques was dumbfounded again. However, what surprised them even more was what Yang Lin said next. "I can indeed figure out where the two of them went, but are you sure you want to ask me? If you ask me, I'll be billing it today." After receiving such an answer, everyone present fell silent for a moment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int love is. Chapter 14. When they first heard Yang Lin's words, netizens wondered if they heard it wrong. What do you mean by Yang Lin? He doesn't want to charge money. If nothing else, it seems to mean that. Oh my God, we are all colleagues after all. How could he have the nerve to ask Boss Yang for money? That's right, this is too outrageous. Isn't this taking advantage of others' danger? We can't coddle him like this. Yes, this guy is really a shrimp head. Call the police. Let the police officer handle this matter. I don't think he can really figure out where the two thieves went. Yes, just let the police uncle handle the matter of catching the thief. There is no doubt that Yang Lin's words have aroused public indignation among Boss Yang's fans. But just when everyone thought Boss Yang would flatly refuse, she unexpectedly agreed. Okay. As long as you help me figure out where the two thieves are and help me find the stolen cash, I will reward you according to your rules. Seeing that Boss Yang agreed, Yang Lin also showed a smile on his face. Deal, but I agreed in advance that the total stolen from you this time is 2,083 yuan and 5 cents, so you have to pay me 208 yuan, 3.5 cents, and add a zero to you, for a total of 208. Huh? How do you know the specific amount of money that was stolen from me? Boss Yang said with his eyes widened. He, of course I calculated it. Okay, I won't say any more. Now I'll help you figure out where those two people went. As he spoke, Yang Lin's expression became serious. The next second, with everyone looking at him in surprise, he took out 3 1 yuan coins from his pocket. After shaking the coin between his hands, he sprinkled it on the ground. Under the gaze of countless eyes, the 3 coins finally fell to the ground in different postures. What the hell? He's not professional at all. How can anyone tell fortunes using coins? They all use ancient coins. That's right, if you don't have the big 5 emperors, you might as well get the little 5 emperors. How can you still use a 1 yuan coin? I'm afraid the production year of these coins has not reached a year. Can they really be effective? You're fooling around here. He really doesn't even want to pretend. If he could count those two thieves, I would eat 10 bowls of rice. What makes the brothers upstairs so cautious that they don't even want to eat shit? Just when everyone was questioning Yang Lin's series of unprofessional operations, he raised his hand and picked up the 3 coins. OK has figured it out. They are now hiding in the King He building less than 1 kilometer away from here. The room number is 308. Besides them, there are 6 other people inside who are also from the same theft gang. In addition to this theft gang, there are also 2 electronic fraud gangs and a surrogacy den in this entire youth hotel. As Yang Lin solemnly stated what he had calculated, the whole place fell silent again. At this moment, their mouths were all open, as if they couldn't believe that this was really calculated. But everyone in the live broadcast room on the other side has already reacted. Are you kidding? How can fortune-telling be so specific? He must be talking nonsense. That's right, even if you calculate the specific location, what the hell is it like to calculate the room number? Does he know how many people are in the room? It's so fake. I don't believe it. Even if you beat me to death, I won't believe it. Didn't he figure it out? He must have networked with the public security department. The last fortune teller I thought was accurate was the one who told me when I was 3 years old that I would be wearing a yellow robe and I would have no worries about food and drink. I'm not as confident as Yang Lin when doing elementary school math problems. Whether his calculation is accurate or not, just tell me whether his calculation is fast or not. It's so straightforward, it's just talking nonsense. As a native of Jinghai City, I feel that he may be right. King He building seems to be a famous den of thieves. People are taken away by the police every day. Yes, A classmate of mine went to class there for 2 days and is still squatting in the jail. Just when everyone was expressing doubts, Yang Lin took out his mobile phone and dialed the police without saying a word. "Hey, police officer, my money was stolen, and now the thief has gone to room 308 of King He building. Yes, there is a theft gang's den there. Please send a few more cars. There are more people." "Yes," Yang Lin called the police again. After calling the police last time to break the evil, he chose to call the police again. No one had time to react until he hung up the phone. "Don't be stunned. Let's go over there and wait. The policeman will come later and return the money to you. Let's go." After speaking, Yang Lin, who looked confident, led everyone towards the King He building. At the same time, the pair of thieves who had just succeeded on the other side also returned to their den. Today went really smoothly. I didn't expect that in this day and age, there would still be people carrying so much cash. The male thief said excitedly while counting the money. Several other thieves showed envious expressions. Nowadays, cash is used less and less frequently, and their incomes have begun to shrink. Although you can occasionally secretly use your mobile phone or something, people nowadays always have their mobile phones in their hands, and they can only eat 3 times in 3 days. But just when the male thief was about to use the money to reward himself, waves of police sirens suddenly came from below the building. Along with the sound of sirens, police cars appeared one after another. Seeing this scene, the expressions of several people in the theft gang suddenly changed. What's going on? Why are there so many police here today? Which company was caught committing electronic fraud? They probably aren't here to catch us. Don't worry, we haven't taken action recently, the police can't find us. 2. Just when a few people were relieved, there was a sudden knock on their door. "Come out and get some takeout." Hearing this sound, a member of the theft gang subconsciously ran to the door and opened the door to the room. The door here had just opened, and in the next second more than a dozen police officers with guns swarmed in. In less than 2 seconds, 8 members of the theft gang were subdued instantly. The process was so fast that they hadn't even figured out what was going on. "Captain Lin, we found cash on the table, exactly the same amount as the person who called the police just now said. In addition, we also found some forged documents and stolen goods, which confirmed that they were the same theft gang that had been operating in the city before." 10 minutes later, under the watchful eyes of the program team and countless viewers, the 2 thieves who had stolen Boss Yang's money were taken out of the King He building by the police uncle. Also coming out were hundreds of criminals of all kinds. With this wave, the entire building was cleared of criminals in an instant. Seeing this, everyone didn't know what to say. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 15. Outside the King He building, the drunken police officer wiped out the theft gang. No one on the scene or the fans in the live broadcast room said a word. They didn't seem to dare believe that this was all true. How could someone be able to pinpoint the location of criminals through fortune telling? If they hadn't been keeping an eye on Yang Lin, they would have even doubted whether Yang Lin had stepped in early. "It's fake," he actually figured it out again. "Oh my God, this is really a crime den. Hundreds of people must have been arrested at once. A thief was involved in such a big case, and the police officers' KPIs were completed for most of the year. I'm convinced, completely convinced. There's nothing else that Yang Lin can't figure out. Not only can Boss Yang's money be recovered now, but thousands of families have also been saved. Is there a possibility that Yang Lin knew where the thief was going from the beginning, and he just pretended to calculate it through fortune telling? Your assumption is invalid. How did Yang Lin know that person would steal Boss Yang's money? Is it so difficult to admit that others are good? Suddenly I felt that the 200 yuan he charged was not a lot. Why did I listen to the conversation he just had with Boss Yang? He seemed to have figured out yesterday that Boss Yang would lose money today, and also knew that Boss Yang would be injured. No, Yang Lin was in the hotel yesterday. When did he say that to Boss Yang? Just as the live broadcast room was exploding, the police uncle also found Yang Lin, who was the reporter. When she saw him wearing Taoist robes, she was obviously stunned. Sir, was it you who called the police just now? It's me, Yang Lin nodded. May I ask how you knew those criminals were hiding in that building? Hearing the police officer's question, everyone around him immediately turned their attention. They wanted to know how Yang Lin would answer this question. After all, he couldn't tell the police directly, he had to figure it out. But what they never expected was that Yang Lin really answered like this. This is very simple. I only need to count with my fingers to know. As soon as he finished speaking, the expressions of everyone present could not help but freeze. If you still do this in front of the police uncle, you should not be taken away as a magician. Although the Dragon Kingdom respects all kinds of different beliefs, Yang Lin's situation is obviously not a matter of religious belief, but feudal superstition. As they expected, the policeman's face immediately became serious after hearing Yang Lin's answer. Comrade, I'm not kidding you about this. As a citizen of Dragon Kingdom, you are obliged to cooperate with our investigation. If you lie and conceal it, you will violate the law. Faced with the stern questioning from the police officer, Yang Lin first sighed helplessly, and then said with a wry smile. I told you and you don't believe it, so why not do this? I'll do the math for you now. If I can calculate it correctly, let's just forget about it. How about that? Hearing Yang Lin's words, the policeman who had looked serious just now suddenly showed a hint of interest. Okay. It just so happens that I have something bothering me recently. If you can really figure it out for me, I will believe you. As he spoke, he was about to tell what was bothering him, but at this moment Yang Lin suddenly stretched out his hand and interrupted. Okay, you don't need to say anything, I already know what's bothering you. You already know, the police officer frowned. Of course, I see that your official career is in trouble because you have encountered obstacles in your career. There must be an unsolved case on your hands. This. As if he didn't expect Yang Lin to hit the mark as soon as he opened his mouth, the middle-aged policeman unconsciously touched the fire boil on his forehead. No, if you put this sentence to any policeman, it would be 80% to 90% successful, unless you can specifically calculate what case I am working on. This is simple. As he spoke, Yang Lin glanced at his alarm signal and pinched his fingers. 1 or 2 is wood, 3 or 4 is fire, 5 or 6 is earth, 7 or 8 is gold, 90 is water, 13,579 is yang, and 24,680 is yin. So what you are concerned about right now should be a treasury theft that occurred in Qinghua district. Amazing. Instantly, a light burst out from the middle-aged policeman's eyes. But at this moment Yang Lin spoke again. In order to avoid you thinking that I only watch the news, let me say a few more points. First of all, the perpetrators of this vault theft should be a group of teenagers, and you have seen them. Secondly, that vault is not their ultimate goal. Their ultimate goal should be the city bank. If nothing else happens, they should have succeeded by now. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, the middle-aged policeman's cell phone rang. After he connected the phone, an impatient voice came from the other end of the phone. Team Chin, what's bad? Someone from the city bank called and said that a big hole was dug into their vault from the outside, and the 2 tons of gold stored in it were stolen. Because the scene was so quiet, everyone present could hear what was said on the other end of the phone. And it was what the person on the other end of the phone said that made the already silent scene even more silent. They seemed to be unable to believe that what they heard was true. On the first step, Yang Lingke said that the thieves were targeting the municipal bank's vault, and on the other hand, a call came in saying that the municipal bank's vault had been stolen. If Yang Lin hadn't been at the scene and never left, they would have even had a little suspicion that Yang Lin had gone over and stolen it himself. After more than 10 seconds, the middle-aged policeman took a deep breath. Taoist priest, you just said that I have seen those criminal suspects, right? If so, then I probably already know who did it. I really want to thank the Taoist master this time. As soon as he finished speaking, he saluted Yang Lin. Yang Lin accepted this very calmly, but before the middle-aged policeman was about to leave, he suddenly made a request. Uncle policeman, part of the stolen money in it just now was lost by my friend. Can you return it to her now? Hearing Yang Lin's request, the middle-aged policeman paused for a moment, then turned and walked towards his colleague. It didn't take long for him to come over with a bag. Taoist master, look at it, is it this? Before Yang Lin could speak, Boss Yang, who had been waiting for a long time, said excitedly. That's it, that's it. Thank you so much. No need to thank me, just thank the little Taoist priest. After saying this with a smile, the middle-aged policeman was about to leave, but before getting in the car, he seemed to think of something again and hurriedly walked to Yang Lin. Taoist priest, can you leave your contact information? If something happens again in the future, I may need Taoist priest's guidance. As soon as these words came out, everyone was dumbfounded again. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 16. What's going on? I heard you right. Even the police uncle wants to leave Yang Lin's contact information. Could it be that he really has to go to Yang Lin to settle the case when he encounters it in the future? He is a public official, so it is not good to do such a thing. What's good? If Yang Lin can really sort out all the backlogged cases, it will be considered a contribution to society. That's it, it doesn't matter whether it's a black cat or a white cat. Any cat that can catch mice is a good cat. Today is really a big deal. Yang Lin not only figured out the thief, but also helped the policeman solve a major case. Now no one says that this show is purely based on the script. Just when netizens were sighing, Yang Lin waved his hand and refused. No need, uncle, police. I will set up a stall on Lovers Street not far ahead. If you have anything, you can come to me directly there. Are you kidding me? If I leave my phone number, I won't be able to call you anytime from now on. Although it's a good thing that someone is looking for him, he can't make any money, so he can't reach out to the police to ask for money. Just as he was thinking this, the middle-aged policeman spoke. That's okay. In addition, since you, Taoist priest, have provided important clues for detecting the gold theft case, if we verify that it is true, our Jinghai City Bureau will provide corresponding bonuses. When he heard the word bonus, Yang Lin's eyes lit up instantly. Bonus? How much is it? Not much, almost 100,000 yuan. When they first heard this number, no one had any reaction. After the middle-aged policeman left, netizens exploded again. Really or not, a bonus of 100,000 yuan, is it such a high amount? If what Yang Lin just said is right, then he has decided on the 100,000. I earned 10,000 yuan on the first day and 100,000 yuan on the second day. How can other people live like this? It's embarrassing. Let alone workers earning 100,000 a day, more than 90% of workers can earn 100,000 a year. But I'm not jealous at all. I make money based on my ability. That's right. The country issues many bounties every year, and there are many that are higher than this bounty. But the key is how many people have the ability to get the money. I think Yang Lin can be bolder and cooperate with the police specifically. In this way, earning 1 million a month will not be a problem. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't have been able to get my money back so quickly. On the way back to Lover's Street, Boss Yang counted his cash and took out 300 yuan as Yang Lin's reward. However, when faced with the reward handed over by Boss Yang, he only took the amount mentioned before. You're welcome. Just take as much as the hexagram gold is. If you take more or less, there will be a cause and effect. Is there any other way to say this? Boss Yang said with a vague understanding. Of course, if I take more money from you today, I might have to pay you back a bigger reward later. Okay, it's time for me to set up a stall. Otherwise, I will only earn 200 today. After saying this, Yang Lin strode towards the place where the stall was set up yesterday. Looking at his retreating back, Boss Yang's face suddenly showed a thoughtful look. Up to now, her impression of Yang Lin had changed several times. She really couldn't understand how a person who was in the entertainment industry could talk about all kinds of things. However, this problem is obviously not something she can't figure out alone. Everyone from the program team to the fans and audience can't figure it out. The only thing they can vaguely confirm now is that this Yang Lin really has something. Ignoring the speculation behind him, Yang Lin came to Lover's Street and came to the corner just like yesterday. Then he took out the KT board with the iron mouth straight cut written on it from the bag. Come here, let's tell fortunes, fortune, marriage, and everything. Don't ask for money. Listening to Yang Lin's shouts, the program staff who were in charge of following the filming were also quite calm. They even looked forward to having customers come to their door, and then continued to listen to Yang Lin telling others fortunes. However, just when everything was on track, two young girls were whispering to several people in uniform on a street corner not far away. That's him, bluffing and deceiving, and I seriously suspect that he is a fake Taoist priest. Yes, he definitely doesn't have a Taoist certificate. This kind of person who is bluffing and deceiving in the name of traditional religion cannot be allowed to continue. Moreover, he also takes advantage of the road and seriously damages the appearance of Jinghai City. Facing the accusations from the two girls, the uniform officers couldn't help but look at Yang Lin. Okay, we understand. If things are indeed as you two said, we will go over immediately to arrest him. And not allow him to continue operating here. After saying that, they took out their law enforcement recorders and walked straight in the direction of Yang Lin. Seeing this scene, the faces of the two girls suddenly showed a hint of joy. Humph! You dare to take our Huahua's position, just wait to be banned. Why should he compare with our Huahua? Hurry up and record this scene, and then spread it to our large group. We will treat it as revenge for fans across the country. Comrade, we have received a report that you are cheating here as a religious figure. Please show us the relevant documents. If you don't have documents, we will deport you in accordance with the law and confiscate all business income. Under Yang Lin's surprised gaze, several staff members wearing urban management uniforms suddenly spoke. He didn't think anything was wrong, but the staff on the side and the audience in the live broadcast room shouted that something was wrong. It's over, why did you recruit them here? Didn't the program crew say hello? It's useless to say hello. Yang Lin is a special operation. It is not only subject to the constraints of the urban management department, but also to the management of religious associations. Then he is not useless. This check is accurate. Even if he has real abilities, it doesn't change the fact that he is a fake Taoist priest. It's all about a certificate. If you have a certificate, you are promoting traditional culture. If you don't have a certificate, you are practicing feudal superstition. Everything was fine yesterday, but why did the city management come to check today? They didn't ask anything else, but only asked Yang Lin. I feel like he was reported. A big tree attracts wind. I also wanted to see Yang Lin tell people's fortunes, but I didn't expect that it would be gone now. I don't know if he has calculated that he will suffer this disaster. Pity. In the eyes of netizens, it is a certainty that Yang Lin will be expelled from Lovers Street. What's more important is that there is a high probability that his illegal gains will be recovered, which is more hurtful. But while everyone was waiting for the development of the matter, Yang Lin did not show any panic at all. Instead, he said very calmly, "What certificate do you need? Let me see if I have it." As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes instantly focused on him. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 17. In the eyes of all the viewers, Yang Lin, an artist, was no match for a Taoist priest, let alone having any certificates. But when Yang Lin just said those words, they had doubts again. He can't really have documents. You're kidding, how could he really have it? The Taoist certificate is not something you can just find and become a Taoist priest on a mountaintop. Yes, I know about this. Generally, believers can only apply for a refuge certificate. After 2 years of completing the refuge certificate, they can go to the local department under the leadership of the master to obtain a salvation certificate. After you get the certificate of transmission and become a master, you can only get the official Taoist certificate after passing the assessment of the local Taoist association. Assessment? What kind of assessment? Is it a test of catching ghosts? I'm going to catch you. The exam is about Taoist classics and cultural exams. Otherwise, why would they require a bachelor's degree or above? You already have a bachelor's degree. Now you want to get a master's degree. You must be over 25 years old and under 35 years old. If you don't have a certificate, even if you are Master Zhang, you are still preaching illegally. But before the netizens had finished discussing it, Yang Lin started looking for it in his backpack. Not long after, he took out a red-covered document, with the 3 characters conversion certificate clearly written on it. Looking at the certificates with the stamps of relevant departments, first the uniformed staff were dumbfounded, and then the audience in the live broadcast room were also dumbfounded. He really has it? He's an artist. Why should he apply for such a certificate? It's outrageous, it's outrageous. This is even more outrageous than the last time that person took out his tractor driver's license. He wouldn't do it just for this variety show, right? It is possible. After all, there is no threshold required to apply for this certificate. Wait, why is he still there? Under the gaze of countless eyes, Yang Lin quickly took out another ID from his bag. It's also a vermilion cover, but the words on it have changed. From the refuge certificate to the transmission certificate. At this time, the urban management officers were completely uneasy, and they quickly opened their documents and checked them. After confirming that the photo on the ID was Yang Lin himself, they immediately looked at each other. Not to mention the audience in the live broadcast room. When they saw the transmission certificate, they immediately thought of what a fan said before. Didn't we agree that after taking the refuge certificate and practicing for 2 years, we can get the transmission certificate? What does Yang Lin's certificate mean? He can't really go to the mountains to practice for 2 years and then become a master. If the certificate is authentic, then he may have practiced in a Taoist temple. Why are things developing more and more outrageous? Doesn't he still have a Taoist certificate? The fans' discussion was not over yet. Yang Lin then took out 2 more purple-covered certificates. One has a Taoist certificate written on it, and the other has a Taoist clergy certificate written on it. I don't know which one you want. I got this Taoist certificate 3 years ago, but later I got this new one. Do you want to verify the authenticity? After saying this, Yang Lin handed over the 2 documents in his hand. The urban management officers looked at it carefully after receiving the certificate. As they watched, their expressions changed slightly. The next second, they handed the certificate back to Yang Lin with respectful expressions. Taoist master, I'm really sorry. We didn't figure it out in advance and we wrongly blamed you. This is your ID, please keep it. We won't disturb you now. As soon as they finished speaking, several people quickly turned around and left. They had previously occupied the road for business and did not mention the illegal missionary matters again. After these urban management personnel left, the staff of the live program team immediately gathered around. Teacher Yang, this certificate of yours can't be authentic. A following photographer looked at the ID in Yang Lin's hand with disbelief and said. Upon hearing his question, Yang Lin immediately responded. You can't say that nonsense. Can I get a fake certificate? It's illegal to get a fake certificate. Pandeo is a true Taoist priest. He once practiced on the mountain for several years before coming down. As soon as these words came out, everyone was in an uproar again. I would rather believe that the evidence is false than believe that Yang Lin is a true Taoist priest. Have Taoist priests come to the entertainment industry these days? I was just wondering why he was so talkative. It turns out he was a Taoist priest before he entered the industry. I said Hua was a mage in the entertainment industry before, but now it seems I was presumptuous. This is the real mage. He is a Taoist priest, so well, why should he become an artist? I also want to know this question. Perhaps the staff saw this comment from a netizen and immediately raised this issue. Teacher Yang, you were so good as a Taoist priest back then, why did you think of becoming an artist in the entertainment industry? Isn't this contrary to your Taoist teachings? That's a good question. Yang Lin put the ID back into his backpack and took another sip of water. Actually, the reason why I entered the entertainment industry is very simple, that is to make money. I have long heard that being a star makes money. After I came down from the mountain and worked as a star for a few days, I discovered that being a star really makes money. Everyone never expected that Yang Lin would answer this question so straightforwardly, and they were stunned for a moment. Cultivation of Taoism is actually not just about hard work. It requires the cooperation of wealth, law, and earth, and wealth comes first, so I'm here. Besides, being an artist can also play different roles and experience different lives, which is great for improving your mood. You don't understand all this. Come on, don't block my way of making money. I have guests coming. Before everyone could recover, Yang Lin suddenly stood up, then pushed aside everyone and walked towards the street entrance. Seeing his behavior, everyone who was originally shocked by what he just said quickly turned their attention away. And at this moment, a middle-aged man with a big belly wearing a white safety helmet suddenly ran towards the pedestrian street. Seeing this middle-aged man, a group of casual workers waiting for work in the pedestrian street immediately took the initiative to greet him. Are there any masonry, carpentry, and steel workers? Zheng building is short of people. It's 500 a day, and it's closed now. I, boss, I can do carpentry. I have been working as a bricklayer in my hometown for 3 years. I can do everything. I can move bricks. Among the crowd's chaotic voices, Yang Lin's voice also sounded at the right time. There is no need to look for more people. No matter how many people you look for, it will be in vain, and people will be killed. If I guess correctly, more than 10 people at your construction site have already been admitted to the hospital. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone looked over, and the middle-aged man wearing a white safety helmet had a look of disbelief on his face. Until he saw the Taoist robe on Yang Lin. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 18. What is Yang Lin doing again? Didn't he agree to do business? Yeah, why is he going to find the foreman at someone else's construction site? It's not like he thought it was hard to make money by telling fortunes, so he decided to work as a laborer on a construction site. Don't tell me, 500 yuan a day is still paid daily, which is better than working for me. As expected of a big city, this small-time worker can earn 500 yuan a day. Wait a minute, what is he talking to the foreman? Excuse me, who are you, master? Under the camera of the program crew, a middle-aged man wearing a white safety helmet walked up to Yang Lin with a cautious expression. I'm a fortune teller, and I happened to see that you were in some trouble, so I gave you some advice. Yang Lin said with a smile. If I guess correctly, your construction site should have entered the final capping stage. Hearing Yang Lin's words, the middle-aged man nodded repeatedly. Yes, that's right. According to the construction schedule, our project should be capped at the beginning of this month, but there are always various things happening. If the cap cannot be capped, the overall construction period will be delayed, and we will lose money if we lose it. After saying that, he let out a long sigh. And just like what the Taoist priest said, more than a dozen of our workers have been injured in the past 2 days. I had no choice but to come here to look for rabbits. Yang Lin nodded when he heard this. That's natural. There are problems with the feng shui of the location of the building you are building. In addition, there are also problems with the shape of your building. If there is no problem, there is something wrong. If I guess correctly, you should have dug out a lot of things on the day you officially broke ground. Taoist master, it's all over. The middle-aged man who was still hesitant at first nodded immediately after hearing this sentence. It's fortunate that you didn't forcibly cap the building. If it had been done, the situation would be 10% and no one could change it. If it were a residential building, there would be a murder within half a year and a fire within a year. If it is for commercial use, whoever rents it will go bankrupt. It will jump at least a dozen times a year. In short, it will cause endless harm. This. After hearing Yang Lin's narration, not only the middle-aged man was dumbfounded, but even the audience who heard his words in the live broadcast room were too scared to speak. There is even a feeling of cooling down. Really or not, Yang Lin is trying to scare him. How could it be so serious? That's right, isn't it true that if you believe in feng shui, there will be something? If you don't believe in it, there will be nothing. I don't believe that the influence of feng shui pattern can be that big. Those who don't believe it can tell at a glance that they have little social experience. I'm not exaggerating when I say that nowadays, basically before starting any major project, you have to find a Taoist monk to do it in advance. The design of all buildings is not necessarily beautiful and practical. For example, if you think a certain building has a strange design, then don't think too much, it must have some other functions. A certain copper coin building is said to be a gold-absorbing bureau. It is recommended to search for the aerial view of Wuzation Cemetery. There are so many examples like this. I just didn't expect Yang Lin to know feng shui in addition to fortune telling. He may not really understand it. What if he just knows a little bit and just said it casually? Feng shui is a university subject, and you will definitely not be able to understand it thoroughly before you reach a certain age. Although netizens had doubts, the middle-aged man apparently believed him after Yang Lin finished speaking, and then said to Yang Lin with a pleading face. Taoist master, since you know everything, then there is a way to solve it. There are hundreds of workers at our construction site. If they can't finish the work, they won't get paid. Of course there is a way to crack it, but I need to go to the field to see it first. Facing the middle-aged man's prayer, Yang Lin thought for a while and said, You wait for me to get the things, and I will follow you after I get the things. After saying that, he turned around and returned to his previous stall and picked up many of his things. The middle-aged man thought that Yang Lin would go for some magic weapon or something, but he was stunned when he saw the KT board in his hand. Taoist master, is this all you need? Don't you have anything else to do? What else do you need? It's enough when I'm here. Let's go. I'll get off work if it's late. Although he was a little skeptical, the middle-aged man seemed to have no other choice at this moment. He could only lead Yang Lin towards his construction site. When everyone in the program team saw this, they quickly followed with filming equipment. 15 minutes later, Yang Lin was taken to a prosperous area in the center of Jinghai by the middle-aged man. Not far away from them was a construction site that was under construction. In the middle of the construction site, a building about 300 meters high was clearly visible. Looking at the entire Jinghai, this building is considered to be the tallest in height, and all the surrounding buildings are much shorter than it. Before the middle-aged man could introduce himself, Yang Lin frowned after looking at the building. "Didn't you ask a feng shui master to come over and take a look before designing this building?" Suddenly hearing Yang Lin say this, the middle-aged man was also a little confused. "Yes, I invited the most famous feng shui master in Xiangjiang. The consulting fee alone was 5 million. He said that our building is 380 meters high, which corresponds to the 380 lines of the I Ching hexagram. It has 81 floors. It absorbs all the hexagram energy and means 9981. To collect the energy of the three talents of heaven, earth, and man. In addition, our building has mountains in the north and sea in the south. Sitting south and facing north will bring long-term luck and extremely prosperous wealth." As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lin immediately shook his head. "What he said is not wrong. Your place is indeed the land with the best fortune in the entire city center of Jinghai. But just because you follow the best design in everything, your prosperity has turned into decline. And when you started construction, the two small buildings next to it probably hadn't started yet." As he spoke, Yang Lin pointed at two buildings about 100 meters each on the left and right of the building. "Yes, those two buildings were built more than a year after we started construction, but they are almost completed now." The middle-aged man frowned. "Then you're done. You don't feel that after adding those two buildings, your three buildings together look like one thing?" Hearing Yang Lin's words, the middle-aged man had not yet reacted, but the audience in the live broadcast room had already exploded. Because from the perspective of the camera, the three tall buildings side by side look like three incense sticks. If it's just like three sticks of incense, it doesn't matter. What matters is the short ones on both sides and the long one in the middle. Even some netizens who didn't understand feng shui understood it instantly after seeing this picture. Reminiscent of what Yang Lin just said, the way they looked at Yang Lin suddenly changed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 19. It is said that people are afraid of 3 long and 2 short, and fragrance is afraid of 2 short and 1 long. Once it happens, it will be very unlucky. Even ordinary people in the Dragon Kingdom know this. This has nothing to do with feudal superstition but a firm belief. After understanding this, the middle-aged man's expression changed instantly. How could this be? The master has never said this before. Of course he won't say this. He's just a feng shui observer and can't predict the future. He doesn't know that there will be 2 smaller buildings built next to it. Yang Lin said calmly. And on top of that, you have a problem with this building. What else? After hearing Yang Lin's words, the middle-aged man's face, which was already grim, became even more ugly. Your building should have been formerly a hospital, so the evil spirits are gathering below. However, the master from Xiangjiang is still very good. He uses the method of a dragon to absorb water and dissipate evil spirits into wealth. But one thing he overlooked is that evil spirits not only come down from the ground, but also come from the sky. This is why you have been unable to cap it. As he spoke, Yang Lin glanced directly above the building. I saw that it was clearly afternoon, but a dark cloud was floating on the top of the building. Against the background of this dark cloud, the entire building looked extremely dark. And this scene was naturally seen by others. I don't know if that dark cloud is the evil spirit that Yang Lin mentioned. Anyway, I think this building is quite uncomfortable. I feel the same way. It feels like a top-notch person suddenly appears in a low-rise building. It's very unexpected. Indeed, but is there really such a thing as evil spirit? How do you put it? In fact, there is a certain scientific reason. You just understand it as a magnetic field. By the way, is it really okay for Yang Lin to find fault with other Feng Shui masters? It's not necessarily that everything he said is right. We don't understand it anyway. Then I should be able to collect a lot of money this time. Of course, it might break 10,000 again. It's really enviable. It's true that he has many skills but is not overwhelmed. Just as netizens were talking about it, the middle-aged man immediately took out his phone. After the call, he walked up to Yang Lin with a sincere face. "Master, I have reported what you just said. Our boss will be here soon. As long as you can help us solve the problem, the price is negotiable." Hearing the middle-aged man's words, Yang Lin nodded slightly. Since this matter has happened to Pandeo, there is no reason to ignore it. Don't worry. As for the money or not, it doesn't matter. It all depends on fate. Seeing that things were starting to develop in a strange direction, everyone in the filming crew could only wait patiently. They are now as curious as the audience about 2 points. One point is whether Yang Lin is really capable of helping others solve their problems, and the other point is how much money Yang Lin can make from this order. While everyone was waiting, half an hour passed in a flash. And just when everyone was getting impatient with waiting, an expensive-looking luxury car parked at the entrance of the construction site. As the vehicle stopped, a young man with good temperament stepped down from it. As soon as he got off the car, he walked up to Yang Lin. After looking up and down, he took the initiative to extend his right hand. "Hello, Master, I am Zhou Wenbin, the Vice President of the Construction Engineering Group, and the person in charge of the Zheng Building Project. This project is really important to our construction engineering group, so I ask you, Master, to help us. Please." Looking at the sincere young man in front of him, Yang Lin couldn't help but reveal a smile. He originally planned to deal with this person again, but he didn't expect this person to be so obedient. But think about it, construction workers pay much more attention to Feng Shui than ordinary people. Since Mr. Zhou is so honest, I won't be pretentious anymore. It's fate that you met me. As long as you pay me this amount, I will help you solve your problem. Yang Lin raised a finger as he spoke. After Zhou Wenbin saw the raised finger, he nodded without thinking. "No problem, as long as the master helps us solve the problem satisfactorily, we can pay for the consultation fee of 1 million. To show my sincerity, I can pay half of the deposit first." Looking at Zhou Wenbin, who didn't look like he was joking in front of him, Yang Lin was stunned. He didn't seem to say it was 1 million. He raised his finger and meant it was $10,000. How could it have doubled all of a sudden? However, before he could speak, Zhou Wenbin had already taken out his checkbook and started writing on it. Soon a check for 500,000 was written. After writing it, he did not forget to respectfully hand the check into Yang Lin's hand. "Master, this is the deposit. After you resolve the matter, I will pay the other half of the fee." After Yang Lin took the check with a dull expression, he also breathed a long sigh of relief. He still knew some of the rules of the Feng Shui circle. The problem this time was obviously not handled well by the Feng Shui master in Xiangjiang. An ordinary Feng Shui master would definitely not take the deal after knowing this situation. After all, taking this business would be tantamount to enmity with the master. And Yang Lin dared to take this business, either because he had 2 brushes and didn't care about the master at all, or because he was a newborn calf who was not afraid of tigers. No matter which one it is, it has no effect on him. And just when the two reached a deal, the audience in the live broadcast room and the staff on site were all dumbfounded. They seemed a little unable to believe what they had just seen and heard. How much is it? I heard you right. 1 million? It's fake. You all heard it right, I heard it too, it's 1 million. I'm sorry, this is a bit exaggerated, isn't it? Just give me some pointers, and then get 1 million for breaking the game. I have begun to doubt life. He just said 1 million, and he still has the nerve to say that he can make money faster by being a star. He can make money faster than a star. Grandma, if I had known that reading Feng Shui could make so much money, I should have followed my blind grandfather into the world. You can't say that. There are more or less problems with learning this thing. Your grandfather must have learned something real, so he is blind. Is it too late to learn Feng Shui and Kanya by yourself now? It's over, it's over. I earned 10,000 yuan on the first day and 1 million on the second day. How can this compare to anyone else who earns money so quickly as a worker? It doesn't matter. I no longer regard this show as a serious variety show. It's just a shitty job. I'll also set up a stall and tell fortunes. At this moment, the netizens in the live broadcast room were completely shocked. They watched Yang Lin earn 1 million with their own eyes. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 20. And while Yang Lin easily won 1 million, the live broadcast rooms of other celebrities were also very lively. In Xiao Yuiyu's live broadcast room, due to Xiao Yuiyu's business expansion, the single-day turnover has reached a new high. He has made 500 in most of the day. If he works harder at night, he may hope to break through 1,000. His fans were naturally excited when faced with this situation. Come on, Xiao Yuiyu, try to get a food cart tomorrow, and open a store in a week. Yes, make it bigger and stronger and create greater glory. As expected, catering is still the way to make money. It makes me want to start a catering business. That's not mainly because Xiao Yuiyu has a business acumen, coupled with his previous social experience. It's not an exaggeration to say that Xiao Yuiyu is the most down-to-earth celebrity. It is simply a model for us to beat workers. Everything has to be down to earth, don't be pretentious. I suspect you are talking about Yang Lin, but I have no evidence. That's him I'm talking about. Even if he earned 10,000 yuan yesterday, it would be great if he could earn 100 yuan today. Working part-time is just a steady flow of money. On the other side, the same is true for Hua Chinayu in the live broadcast room. After the first day's experience, he also chose to be down to earth today. In addition to setting up a stall, he would also take the initiative to hawk. After seeing his performance, the fans in his live broadcast room were immediately excited. Hua is so perfect. How can there be such a perfect man in the world? Yeah, he's too down to earth. He doesn't look like an idol at all. He is actually hawking like an ordinary hawker. I did the math for him. Today he earned a full 370 yuan. It's really amazing. For such an all-around star, the officials actually ranked him behind Yang Lin. That Yang Lin is just cheating with his mouth. I have already found someone to report him. Even if you don't report him, he won't be able to win Hua. Even if he earned 10,000 yuan yesterday, he may not be able to do it today. That is. Except for the live broadcast rooms of these two artists, the situation in the live broadcast rooms of other artists is basically the same. Whenever their favorite artist makes money, these fans are even more excited than the artist himself. But at this time, some fans who came back from Yang Lin's live broadcast room brought them unbelievable news. What? Yang Lin earned 1 million. How can this be? It's a lie. What kind of job can you make 1 million in less than an afternoon? It's not that fast to commit fraud. Fake news must be fake news. You still want to lie to me? There is no doubt that everyone automatically thought it was a lie the first time they heard the news. After all, earning 1 million in one afternoon is a bit too outrageous. But it's okay if just one person says this. The key problem is that as time goes by, this statement becomes more and more widespread. Not long after, the video of Yang Lin's live broadcast was posted online. Those who were skeptical were left dumbfounded after watching the full video. During this process, the live video gradually became popular on the internet in Long Country. Not long after, even some netizens who had never followed this variety show knew about it. And their reactions were exactly the same as those in the live broadcast room. Just when everyone was deeply shocked by the fact that Yang Lin made 1 million by watching Feng Shui, Yang Lin himself, who was at the first scene on the other side, had already made preparations. After he received the deposit, everyone's eyes were focused on him. They really want to know how Yang Lin will break the current Feng Shui pattern of Zheng building. Mr. Zhou, there are two most critical issues to break the current situation. One is that the evil spirit at the top of the building needs to be resolved, and the other is the change of the entire structure. The former is easy to say, and Pandeo can evacuate it, but the latter requires some changes in the overall shape of the building. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, Zhou Wenbin frowned. Master, I'm afraid the overall shape can't be changed. It's all been filed, and it's almost capped. How can I change it? I didn't ask you to change to another location. I asked you to change to the top of the building. After the building is topped out, you only need to install 108 lights above the top. The lights must be lit at night or on cloudy days. Of course, if you can say hello to the relevant departments, it would be best to build a Taoist temple on top and use the Taoist temple to suppress the evil spirits of the entire building. While talking, Yang Lin took a pen and paper to draw a sketch. Soon a panoramic view of the renovated building appeared on the paper. At first, Zhou Wenbin didn't quite understand why Yang Lin asked him to install 108 lights on the top floor of the building. But when he saw the renderings, he suddenly felt enlightened. Master, I understand. After lighting those lamps, the whole building is like a stick of incense. The long incense is lit, but the two short incense are not lit, so there are no longer two short incense and one long. How wonderful! Zhou Wenbin's eyes were full of brilliance and he did not forget to cast admiring glances at Yang Lin. This cracking method alone is enough to show that Yang Lin's skill is no worse than that of the Xiangjiang master. Not only did he think so, but the viewers in the live broadcast room also thought so, even if most of them were laymen. 666, Yang Lin seems to be really capable. Although I don't understand Feng Shui, I can imagine that if the lights on the top of the building are illuminated by then, it will definitely be magnificent and become the pearl of the entire Jinghai city. It not only adds color to the look, but also acts like a beacon. This is really a wonderful move. Put aside the feudal superstition part, Yang Lin's proposal is better than the previous one that was like a big iron rod inserted into the clouds. This is probably the finishing touch. But building a Taoist temple on the top floor is a bit outrageous, isn't it? I don't know if it's too far off or not, but it's definitely illegally built. Don't worry, if people really want to do it, the problem of illegal construction can be solved. That's right, I have the strength. Master, just follow what you said. Let's pretend to be a bright light. As for the Taoist temple. Seeing Zhou Wenbin hesitate, Yang Lin quickly added. The location of Zheng building is both a financial position and a bad end. According to the layout of the Feng Shui master, you only have 70 years of wealth luck here. If you don't think about what will happen in 70 years, then you don't have to build it. By the way, this is the list of things I need to do. Please arrange for someone to prepare it. After solemnly explaining all the matters, Yang Lin took out a list and handed it to Zhou Wenbin. Zhou Wenbin fell into deep thought after reading the contents on the list. He understands pigs, cattle, and sheep, but this golden arch family bucket is also used in the recipe.